Good morning. Glad to have you with me today as we read through the lectionary and pray prayers out of the book Common Prayer, A Liturgy for Ordinary Radicals by Shane Claiborne and others. Today we're reading again from the Gospel selection, which is Mark chapter 8, starting in verse 1. In those days, when there was again a great crowd without anything to eat, Jesus called his disciples and said to them, I have compassion for the crowd because they have been with me now for 3 days and have nothing to eat. If I send them away hungry to their homes, they will faint on the way, and some of them have come from a great distance. His disciples replied, How can one feed these people with bread here in the desert? He asked them, How many loaves do you have? And they said, 7. Then he ordered the crowd to sit on the ground, and he took the 7 loaves, and after giving thanks he broke them and gave them to his disciples to distribute, and they distributed them to the crowd. They had also a few small fish, and after blessing them, he ordered that these too should be distributed. They ate and were filled, and they took up the broken pieces left over, 7 baskets full. There were about 4,000 people, and he sent them away. This miracle, the feeding of the multitude, different numbers in different gospels and different stories, but this is the only miracle that we have recorded in all 4 Gospels outside of Jesus' death and resurrection. It's an important one. It's a memorable one. So many people were impacted. When we think about what that means today, we're often tempted to simply say that God will provide, that God will give you enough to get by. Trust, even when it looks like there aren't enough resources at hand. Now, that's one thing to say when the resources truly are scarce, when there's not enough money at the end of the month, and you do have to go to the food pantry to make sure that you've got enough to provide for your family. Trusting in God then looks a little different. It looks like finding the resources that your community has made available, because you cannot say that God is about to come down and turn 7 loaves of bread into 7 baskets left over after the month ends. Now, trusting that God will provide means something very different when you do know that there's going to be enough food on your table to make it to the end of the month. We're so tempted when we have enough food, when we can pay the electricity bill, to think, well, I need to save up and save up and save up more and more to make sure that when the bottom falls out from under me, that I can catch myself. And there's value in that. We need to plan ahead and we need to be safe, but not at the expense of other people. And that's where it becomes very tricky to have enough. We are called to not be a burden to others, but also to care for others whenever we can. Finding that balance is one of the more difficult parts of living as a Christian in our world, in our country, in our community, where so many people do have enough. Pray for wisdom for you as you navigate that balance in your own way. Would you join me in prayer? Things are topsy-turvy in your kingdom, God. The poor bear gifts of great worth. The dead rise, the meek inherit the earth. Teach us how to live in an upside-down world where we are called to welcome the outcast, prepare a feast for the ragged, and forgive those who offend us. Amen. Have a blessed day.